Hello everybody, in this video we're going to look at functions one more time, introducing parameters. Alright, let's get going. So as a review, when we define a function, we have a def, a function name, parentheses, the colon, and then all the stuff of the function is indented. So what we're going to do now is take this basic form and power it up. You already know the basic concepts behind these ideas, even though you don't know it yet. So when I print, I can print watermelon is tasty, I can print I love strawberries, and I can do it with just one command, the print. And what makes this possible? It's the stuff that's inside the parentheses. And we're going to call this the argument. So again, I can print different things with just the print command, and it's possible because of the arguments. If I didn't have the arguments, or the stuff inside the parentheses, I would need separate commands. A command to print I love strawberries, and a command to print watermelon is tasty, and a command to print everything else. So these arguments make my commands much more powerful. You also already know this concept in Scratch, where I have one move command, and I give it an argument to tell it how much to move. I don't have a move 10 and a move 20 and a move 50, just one command. I could also have two arguments, so for instance the goto, where I move to X and move to Y. So I just want to summarize this section by saying what I'm about to show in Python will seem like it's really complicated, but you actually already know these concepts. As a reminder, this is the function syntax that we've learned before. We have a def, then's the function name, then's the parentheses, then's the colon. All the stuff that belongs inside the function is indented, and that's it. When we learned it that way, we hadn't learned about parameters yet, and they were all empty. When we look at it again with parameters, we have the def, we have the function name, we have the parentheses. Inside the parentheses are the parameters, separated by commas. You can have one, two, or as many as you want, all separated by commas. Then you have the colon, and then you have the code that belongs to the function that will be indented. And now when we call a function where the function has parameters, it's going to look the same as before with one change. You have the function name, you have the parentheses, and inside the parentheses you have arguments that match the parameters. When you look at it from the function side, they're called parameters, and when you look at it from the calling side, they're called arguments. It's a lot of new terminology, so I think it's easiest to understand if you see an example. So I'm going to write a function with one parameter. One parameter means one item inside the parentheses. This will be a happy birthday function, singing happy birthday to somebody. Remember, this by itself does nothing. I need to call the function before it does anything, which I do with function parentheses argument. The way you should think about these parameters is that they are temporary variables, and we're going to set the variables equal to the value of the arguments. So here's an example of how it works. So I have this table here with the variable names and the values. So when I start this code, this variable name is not set to anything. The first real line of code I'm going to run is line 8, which is happy birthday Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. That will run the function on line 1, and it will set the variable name equal to the argument. So name will equal Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So then the code will run lines 2 and line 3, and when it gets to line 4, the value of name is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So it prints out, happy birthday dear Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Then Python runs line 5, which is a print, and then it ends the function. And when it ends the function, it clears out the value of this temporary variable. So now name is not equal to anything. I can call this function one more time with my argument of Samuel L. Jackson, and when I run it, it prints out something different. The first time, the function sets name is equal to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and the second time, the function sets a variable name equal to Samuel L. Jackson. This next example is just to show that it can work with two parameters and two arguments. I have two parameters, friend1 and friend2. The first time I call it with arguments Beyonce and Jay-Z. The second time I call it with Carrie Underwood and Martina McBride. And you see it prints out those people as I expect. Alright, common mistakes. The first most common mistakes is not to follow directions. So if you get an internship at some tech company, they're not going to let you loose on the whole code. What they're going to say is, write me a function with this many parameters, and you have to follow those instructions exactly. When we say, write me a function called happy birthday with one parameter, you need to do that exactly. So the first one is correct, but the second one has no parameters and is wrong. A second type of mistake comes because people forget how parameters and arguments work. When I call the function, the parameter's value is equal to the argument. But people forget this and they say, well, what's the name? Well, let me set it. So I'll set it here. And if I do this, this function will only work for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I'll call the function 3 times. It works the first time when the argument is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, but anytime the argument is different from what I set the parameter to, it'll fail. Remember, the reason we have these functions with parameters is it so you can run basically the same code for different situations. So in Python, you can print whatever you want instead of having to have different things for printing I love fruit or I love vegetables. And in this example, I can sing happy birthday to whoever I want instead of having different functions for each person I want to sing a happy birthday to. So if you want that flexibility, don't overwrite your parameters. Along these lines, another common mistake is to put an input inside the function. I probably wouldn't even need a parameter in this case. And this can work. The problem is it's going to be slower because anything with human interaction is going to be slower. So for the most part, when we assign functions, we're not going to ask you to ask the user for an input. We're going to just assume that that input will come in via parameters. So again, if you're using functions, don't put inputs inside the functions unless the directions tell you to do that. The next super common mistake people make when they're inside the function, but they're looking for variables outside the function. So here I have person inside the function, but there is no person inside the function. The only person that exists is outside the function. So don't do this. It'll work sometimes. When I run it here for the first time, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, it prints out correctly what I expect. It prints out happy birthday to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. But the second time, I want to print out happy birthday to Oprah. And again, it prints out happy birthday to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So that is bad, and you have a bug. So here's a simple rule of thumb that works for my students. Just like a cult, you cannot look from outside into the function for anything, and you cannot look from inside the function to the outside for anything either, except through the parameters. So basically, just like a cult, you only know what you're told. You only know what you're told through the parameters. And if you follow this rule of thumb, you can avoid a lot of silly bugs, and your code's going to be a lot more portable too. The last common mistake that shows up is forgetting that you need to have exactly the same number of parameters as you have arguments. So in this example here, my function has 2 parameters. When I call the function, it needs to have 2 parameters too. And if it doesn't, I get an error. So here we are, function with 2 parameters, but the call only has 1 argument. And when I fix that, it works and I'm good. All right, here's where I go over the solutions to the lab. You should pause the video and try them out first, but if you can't get it, never fear, here's the solutions. This first one wants me to make a function called favorite fruit with 1 parameter. And the function should print out my favorite fruit is, and then whatever the fruit is. So to make a function, I go def, function name, parentheses, colon. And then in this one, because we're doing parameters, I put the parameters inside the parentheses. 1 parameter means 1 item inside the parentheses. So here I'll write my function, my favorite fruit is, and I'll use that parameter. Again, that parameter is a temporary variable. So pfruit, and I run it. I have a couple things, but nothing prints out. And why? Because I haven't called the function. So nothing's printing out. I'll call the function with argument banana, and it's good. This next one wants me to make a function with 2 parameters. So the function will be named exactly favorite vegetables. Again, 2 parameters, which means 2 things inside the parentheses. I'll call them veggie1 and veggie2. For the function, I'm supposed to print out my favorite vegetables are. So I'll use an f string here. And again, I'll run it. Nothing prints out, and this is expected by itself. A function does not do anything. You have to call the function. So favorite vegetables, parentheses. I need 2 arguments, which matches the 2 parameters, carrots and beans. And when I run that, it's good. All right, so here's debugging 1. If I run it, the first call looks like it works. Birthday song with Joe prints out happy birthday to Joe. But birthday song with Jose prints out happy birthday to Joe again. So this is a common mistake people make. Don't make this mistake. In this second call, I'm setting pname equals to Jose, but then right away pname is being set to Joe. So it's being hard-coded to Joe, and I don't want to do that. The whole point of functions with parameter and arguments is I can change what the function does by changing the arguments. I get rid of the line that hard-codes the variable, and it works. Next one is another debugging question. When I run it, I would expect it to say happy birthday to Mary and then happy birthday to Maria with those 2 calls. Instead, it says happy birthday to something totally different. And what's going on here? Well, there's an input here, so it's asking me for user input, and that's not what I want. In general, having an input there is going to slow everything down because human interaction is slow. And it's also not going to be using the arguments that I sent in. So I get rid of that line, and it works. This is a common mistake people do. Don't do this. Keep the inputs outside of the function. All right, debugging 3 coming up. I have a function with 2 parameters. I call the function. There's a bug. It says it's on line 5. Missing positional argument. So missing argument. I have 2 parameters, which means I need 2 arguments. I only had 1 argument. When I add the argument, it runs. Common mistake. Last debugging question. This one's the most tricky one. Okay, so everything looks correct. I would expect to say happy birthday to Joseph and then happy birthday to Juanita. And instead it says happy birthday to Joseph twice with no Juanita. What's going on here? Well, in this one I'm violating the rule of thumb. Functions are like cults. You cannot look outside of the function and you cannot look inside of the function. This has a fancy name called scope. We're not going to worry about that for now. But I'm violating the rule because name is looking outside of the function. There is no name inside the function, only outside. It's looking outside of the function. What it really should be is pname. Pname is a parameter, which I can see. So I make that change and it works. It works. Again, don't look outside of the function when you're in the function. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Hope that was useful to you. And if it was, please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.